All right, everyone. Are we ready to get this moving? Let's go. Hey, I've been really looking forward to this, and I'm glad y'all are here with me. Tonight, we're doing a little bit different, though. We're going to count down my favorite 10 games of the year. We also did a poll that ended this afternoon for all of you to go and vote for your favorite games of the year. We'll talk about that after. Number 10. The top 10 begins. And I want y'all to fire away in the chat. If you agree, if you disagree, if you're like, hey, I heard that's a good game, but I didn't get to play it. It's all good. But this is where the fun begins. We're going to talk about my top 10, but afterwards we're going to talk about the community's top 5. But if you think that game is too high, that game is too low, throw it in the chat. I want to see it. Okay. Number 10.
This is more than a race. It's a journey. Find your passion. Find what drives you. Find your line. Gran Turismo 7. Available now.
It is available now, and I will say that Gran Turismo 7 is the best racing sim I've ever played. Like, full stop. And if you haven't played it, I understand. It's not something that... you can play it on PS4, for sure. And let me turn on another thing. I've got a chart. Bam! So I got a little chart here. I wanna make sure this chart stays current. So I'm gonna have to do a couple of things to switch some stuff here and there. But come on. Are we good there? I just slide myself over a little bit. Sorry there, Tardif. You're going to be off screen a little bit. Okay. Gran Turismo 7. Let's just switch over to the this view. Sorry. I'm trying to run like 5 things at once. All right. So, the thing with Gran Turismo is you know what you're going to get. You're going to get amazing gameplay. The tightest of any racing game out there. Some will argue Forza, and I don't disagree. Forza was already good on the original Xbox, and they have continued to make great Forza games. And they outdo everyone else when it comes to arcade type racing games with the Horizon series. I love the Horizon series, although I did skip 5. I played through 1, 2, 3, and 4. This game though, this is the best looking racing sim of all time. It is the deepest. It is, 4K at a locked 60. The in-car view in this game is mind-blowing. And I wish I was playing it on a full steering wheel setup with 3 monitors, and I can't imagine. I'd still be playing it right now. Drawbacks are the UI is atrocious because all of the Gran Turismo games have terrible UI. I don't know what it is. And the music decisions they made on the soundtrack, they're always a little wonky, but there's always a few really good songs. This one is like, I just turn the music off and I just play, because the song selections by and large are they're questionable, at least. And I'll say that as someone who has played other Gran Turismo games and hit or miss with the soundtracks. This one's probably one of the worst ones that I've experienced. So, but you don't play Gran Turismo for the soundtracks, right? You play it for the gameplay, and the gameplay is as tight as it's ever been. Because on the PS5, there's no way. We have now at peak reality type gameplay of Gran Turismo 7 on the PS5. Find me in the future, 10 years from now, there's nothing they can do, in my opinion, in any racing game that is going to surpass this. Other than 8K? Is the difference between 4K and 8K going to be that much more noticeable? More crowd? Hey, there's more people in the crowd, and the crowd's doing more to react. You're not going to notice that stuff. The core of the game, the lighting, everything else in this, we've hit the peak for racing games. And for simulators, it is Gran Turismo 7, and there's no other way around it. One other negative I do want to point out, though, and this is a big one, Man. The always online DRM. Can we please get past this? By and large, most people don't want to play this online. If you're going to play online multiplayer, that's fine. But to do the single player and require the online DRM, the servers were down most of the opening weekend, and it was a massive shit show. And for good reason. I bought the game. I want to play it over my first weekend. You couldn't get on to the servers for most of the weekend. If you can't get on the servers, you can't play. You can't play offline campaign. It doesn't exist. Can we please, as a gaming industry, get away from this? There's no need for it. But that wasn't enough to have me keep it off the list. So, number 10 is Gran Turismo. Alright, let me catch up with chat. Mario Kart is more realistic. You fucking trolls. Horizon 4, I think. Is it 4 or 5? How many Horizons are we on? I skipped the last one. Michaela, how are you, by the way? Welcome, first-time chatter. I do not. No, I play with the PS5 analog, but I will say the dual axis. So I actually play it with. I use the triggers for the gas and brake, but then I use the left and right. I turn the controller, and you just kind of hold it a bit. It's way more accurate than playing with. Now, if I had a steering wheel, that would be the most accurate. But moving the controller in the air. I just hold it kind of up above my lap, and I just kind of do this. And go ahead and read into that more of what you want, you perverts. Not every game needs online multiplayer. Agreed, Chef. But this game, even offline campaign, you can't play on servers, which is totally ridiculous. Zilf says, I agree, keep the resolution the same and add more to the game. I want to see them add more game modes. And then maybe have some things where they don't take themselves so seriously. It's so... everything about it's so serious, and they're trying to be so like, this is an ode to the racing games of, you know, yeah. Put a fun offline, like off-roading game mode in there. Just come on, just do it. That's how they're going to improve these games. We need number intros. Number 9. Some of y'all are going to see this one coming. I've only streamed it twice, but I'll talk about why that was in just a minute. Least scuffed Wheeler stream. Thanks, Pock. Okay, number 9. Number 9. Wrong button. Is that volume loud enough for y'all? Should I turn it up a bit? Rollerdrome, man, let me tell you a little bit about Rollerdrome, and we'll do that here in just a second as I pull up the long form video and I put it in the chat, and I go bam, and I go like that, and then I expand it to full screen, and then I go like that. So Rollerdrome it's Tony Hawk skateboarding with guns. Skateboarding. Tony Hawk roller skating with guns. Keeping combos together, stringing combos together, doing tricks to reload. Like, that's how you reload. You have to do a trick to reload. Kind of ingenious. The cell shading graphics, fantastic. The game runs really well. It's not asking a ton of your system, to be fair. It is a shared exclusive PC and PS4/PS5. Not sure what they did on that. Maybe they helped spend some money on the development, but they wanted to keep it on Steam or whatever. There's a story, but really you don't need it. It's 70s style aesthetics. It's trying to be like Rollerball, but a little bit different. Hey, look, I love the hell out of the first 2 hours I put into this game. Jet Set Radio with guns, absolutely. Then I put another couple of hours into the game, and I hit a skill ceiling that I could not get past. The game gets really hard. I also am not very good. Having said that, the game, the skill curve just increases in the second half of the game, like big time. And the amount of grinding I was going to have to do to get through levels wasn't something I felt like doing on stream. I did play it offline one time, and I kind of had a similar experience where I was just like, you know what? I don't want to spend an hour and a half on this same level, continuing to try to beat it. Also, what you're seeing here right now happens a lot on any level that has any open area, which this was something that got frustrating. You can grind walls, but you can't always jump up them. And then you find yourself like stuck there, and you basically have to kill yourself in order to get back up somewhere. That got old to me really fast. There's just, you don't want it to be too sticky, right? You don't want to make it easy mode, but at the same time, you jump out of bounds so easily in this game. And this level, it happened a lot. And that's kind of why I wanted to show this level too. But as you can see, does it not look like a lot of fun? It was. And I did enjoy it. And even though the skill ceiling went up a little above my head after a few hours, it was still a really cool game, cool concept. And it wasn't too expensive either. So good amount of content. I'd like to see some DLC. Maybe a little bit of free, maybe a little bit of paid. Who am I to ask and beg, right? But I love the vibe of it, love the look of it, love the feel of the controls and the guns. Just wish the level design was a little bit more enclosed. Like, open, but not with all these different ways that you can fall off and die. That's me. I'm a mid-tier gamer at my best, on my best day. So that is a little peek at Roller Drome. That's my number 9 game of the year. All right. Now, all right, number 8.
Target designated.
These things take violence and timing. I can do both.
We need an army.
I can get us an army.
We're a team. No one fights alone.
Available now.
So, Modern Warfare 2. Let's talk about it just a little bit. This game, yeah. Infinity Ward knows what they're doing. And for anyone to question otherwise is crazy. Even though a good portion of the people who worked on the last one, or on the ones that everyone thinks of, when you think of
Stand by. Guys.
when you think of Modern Warfare, the originals that Infinity Ward made, that team left after Modern Warfare 3 because of a big dispute they had with the leadership at Activision. It was ugly. And a good chunk of them, like Zampella and some other, he left and took a bunch of people with him, and they started the studio Respawn, which made one of our viewer, Pac, one of their favorite games of all time, Titanfall 2. They also made Apex Legends, which is doing really, really well for EA. So, smart call by them to break off and do their own thing. But the people who are still working in Infinity Ward are the top of the line still, and they are making the best Call of Duty games as we go. I'm going to skip around a bit in the campaign. There's a great sniper mission. It's this one. It's probably the best mission in the game, even though it does overstay its welcome a little bit. But first, I want to talk about the campaign, okay? Because the campaign isn't quite as good as the last Modern Warfare that came out 3 years ago. Yeah, because there was World War II, there was Vanguard, and then this. So 3 years ago, the last Modern Warfare. It's a little confusing because the old games were also called Modern Warfare. Why did they do that? I don't fucking know. They took some of the characters and then just told another story because they realized Captain Price and Soap and Ghost all tested positively, I'm sure, with fans. So they said, we'll just bring them back. The game engine that they have for this game is the best one they've ever had. But the biggest reason why this is so high on my list, and 8, pretty high for me because Call of Duties don't usually make my list. I like them, but I don't love them like I used to. Having said that, the multiplayer in Modern Warfare 2 that came out this year is top tier. The weapon feel is so good. The balance of the weapons, the level design, some of the best levels of any Call of Duty multiplayer. Now, there's a couple of crappy ones, right? That border crossing one that's like a Sicario map, the worst. It's please bring back map banning in the when you can vote to ban a map or vote to skip a map. Vote to skip. But some of the other maps in this are amazing. Some of the best level design they've done in terms of the flow and the fairness of which side you spawn on. Perfectly balanced. So I have to give love for the multiplayer. If we include Warzone in this, it's better than Warzone 1. It has some definite positives. It runs a little bit better than Warzone 1. I got to give them some credit. But there's definitely some negatives. And I believe Zelf mentioned it earlier. The interface on this game as a whole is a war crime, fittingly enough. It is horrendous. I don't know how it got out of testing. It's really bad. Trying to find your way through the menus. And the experience in general in the first couple of weeks and how you couldn't party up with friends properly. Someone tries to launch a game and it gets hung up and you've got to leave a party and completely restart a new party. And just trying to get through and find your weapons and reading what the camouflage options are and the weapons. It is a nightmare. It's just too bad the gameplay is so incredibly good. As a campaign, it's still better than the last couple of Call of Duties, but as far as Infinity Ward campaigns go, I'd say it's in the top half, but it's in the middle of the top half. So, all right. Let's look at chat. Where are we at on this? Where are we at? Edward Apollo's here. What's up? Justice for Titanfall. Microwave Repair Shop 3. All right. I actually really liked the campaign. It had its moments. A couple of cringe moments, but by and large, it was pretty good. Some people broke off Respawn and made Gravity Well. Ooh, really? When is Gravity Well coming out? Is it already out? F in chat for the COD UI. Vanguard better, Kappa. F's in the chat. Hulu UI. I don't have a Hulu account, so I couldn't tell you how bad it is. It's really bad. The UI is really bad, but it's not bad enough to kill the game for me. So, having said that, that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, number 8 on my list. All right. Game of the Year numbers. We're going to get into number 7 now. This is when it starts to get a little crazy. Are you ready to get a little crazy?
You ever wonder how it all ends? What if it ended with a song?
It's an old trailer. Oh, let me tell you a little bit about a game called Metal Hellsinger. If you haven't played this, oof. This little bit of gameplay running in the background when I talk about it. The elevator pitch is simple. It's Doom, but a rhythm game. Simple as that, right? On paper, it's a demonic shooter, first-person shooter, but you can see the timer on the cursor. It's in beat to the song. And if you're shooting and reloading to the beat, you get bonuses. You keep your score bonuses going higher. All the music in it is made specifically for the game. So they got with a band, and they had guest vocalists on all of them. So this is the vocalist from The Agonist or Arch Enemy. And you have to have a full 16 times combo to hear the vocals. So when it's just like a single or a 2x combo, you just hear the bass line. And then the more your combo goes up, the more instruments come in. And so when you get to the full max combo, you hear the vocals to the song. So it's really cool. You can tell, based on the song and how you're hearing it, where your combo is. You don't even have to look up top. The music's great, and it's all copyright free, so you can stream it and not worry about DMCAs. You can post it on YouTube, whatever. They did that intentionally because they wanted people to stream their game, and I did. I paid my $30. Actually, I paid 60 because I bought a copy and gave it away. Riz in the chat actually was the winner. So when you're a member of this community, sometimes you win stuff, which we'll get to that in a minute. The music is safe for Twitch. Yep, exactly, Pac. Serge Tankian is on a song. The last boss battle, it was a bit of a surprise. Randy Blythe from Lamb of God was on the song that's in the last level, which I was stuck on for a little while. Actually, the next to last level was the toughest. That boss battle kicked my ass. I will say, the game is short. There are some modifiers that unlock when you beat a level to try to beat it in different ways. And then there's leaderboards. So there's reasons to go back and play it if you're into that kind of stuff. But by and large, as a campaign, it's like a 4 or 5 hour experience. So, but I did want to come back to it and play it because the music feels so good, and shooting in time to the music and reloading and shooting and running away from the bigger creatures and then finding where the health power-ups are and then the combos and stringing it all together. It felt so good. It's not as polished as Doom, right? But it's a much smaller team that made this, and just the fact that the rhythm is the hook, I gotta tell you, they did a fantastic job with the game, and I think it really deserves some attention for Game of the Year. Get good to hear music. Dude, there's your elevator pitch. Get good to hear more music. You're a wiener. Hellsinger is definitely good. Yeah, isn't it a good game? I enjoyed it a lot. And it was only $30, I think, so it was definitely worth the money. This dude sucks at this game. Yeah, I didn't really watch the gameplay. I just wanted to show a little bit of one of the levels. This is not my footage. Some random 4K 60 FPS. That's not my stream. Anyway, all right, that is number 7. Now, I'm gonna pull up number 6. This is going to be a little controversial. Can you not read, Toko? It's number 6. What a cool game Stray was. I mean, Stray is the kind of experience that you really don't expect. I mean, you're vibing as a cat. I mean, that's pretty much what you're doing. And there's platforming and there's minor puzzle solving. As a game, it's not too terribly difficult. I think I maybe looked up one solution in one area where I was a little stuck. He hates cats. Stray, the reason why Stray isn't higher on the list is it's a kind of a short experience, and from a platforming perspective, you can see it's a little too hand-holdy. Having the space to show where you can jump, or I was using a controller, so A to jump. Having that show up on the places where you can jump. Not having the freedom to try to jump on places. I would have liked a little bit less of the hand-holdy with, here are the places you can jump to. It does that the entire game, and it's just like, God, I wish they would have just let me kind of walk around and explore this world without all of the prompts for where you can jump and where you can't jump. That's a minor complaint, but it is something that is through the entire game. Now, I'm starting with the negatives, of course, because y'all are on me about why this game isn't higher on the list. Like I said, maybe a little controversial. I know a couple of you are going to have it number 1. Full disclosure, I love cats. I used to have a couple of cats. Now we have dogs, and I don't know how they would be with cats, so that's just kind of where we are. But I've always been a cat person, and being able to play as a cat, and one that they motion captured and animated so well. I don't know if there's ever been a game where you can be a cat and have it feel like you actually are playing as a cat. That in and of itself was fantastic. The story is, there's not much there, but what's there is very good. And full disclosure, I got choked up at the end. Not ruining anything, trust me, not spoiling anything. It earned some emotion in its 4.5 hours or so. It was just too short. Man, I would have liked... Oh. Here's the thing. I wanted more of it, even though it probably ends around the time that it should. So it's kind of hard for me to say the game is too short when it's probably the right length for this story. I would have loved more of it, though. I did want to play more of it. Saying it's too short is kind of a cheap way to give it a drawback, but for me, it's number 6. Could it have been higher? Probably a little bit. Oh, run. Run, kitty. I was really into this game, and I have my full highlights. Oh, this person sucks, too. Is this a game journalist playing it? Oh, they got through. It was a wonderful experience, and if you haven't played it yet, I believe it is on PS Plus Extra. So not the Essential or whatever the core one is, but it's like the second or the third tier. It is free to play there. I paid $30 full price for it, and I don't have any regrets. I really enjoyed this game a lot, and it just felt really good. Just my complaints are pretty minor, but man, I just wanted more. All right, reading the chat. Riz says Game of the Year. Did you get to play this, Riz? Oh, you hate the kitties, Wheeler. Yeah, light me up. Light me up. It's all right. Stray was fun to play. It was fun. No, I did enjoy it. Wheeler's making my cats go insane one night because of this game. If it was a Corgi, instant Game of the Year. Corgis are pretty cute. There's an option to turn it off? Okay. Well, the default wasn't that way, so. Whether was using his Thrustmaster Eswap Pro Controller. Hey, you got the name right. Very good. See, Tokoboy didn't even know that. Feline Companions 2023 says Zilf. Zilf's still here. Dude, it's like 4 in the morning your time. This is Felix the Cat on Sega Erasure. This game was... Sinlenia's in here. This game was cute, but I agree with the placement on this. Look, I'm not gonna be down on it like some people. Like, I know Donkey made a video where he was pretty harsh on it. Like, this isn't really gameplay. Like, this game doesn't really even have gameplay. It's an experience, right? We play walking simulators. I've given props to walking simulators. This has more gameplay than a walking simulator, but it's closer to a walking simulator than an actual game. And that makes sense. You're a cat, right? You're already the smartest cat that's ever lived because of the way you can solve puzzles and stuff. So I can't really be too down on it. But for the games that I put in front of it, I'll explain why. And I just think from a gameplay perspective, I enjoyed them a little more. I don't remember signing off on PS Plus. It was short, but there really wasn't any filler either. I would say Going to the Scientist was kind of a side-off thing, but it was okay. It was fine. I can't complain. Donkey can be a cock sometimes. Sometimes he does it just to troll. Agreed. What Remains of Edith Finch has 5 minutes of gameplay. Yeah, you're like chopping up fish. That's like the only gameplay in that. Okay, so that's Stray.
Welcome to paradise. Luan, it's not a sign of weakness to say you were worried.
Look around, Aiden. What do you see?
Something people outside the walls could only dream of.
Promise you'll never leave me alone here. Never.
She trusted you. And you failed her.
Maybe I can help you.
You're sentenced to death for treason.
A little boy wants to pretend he's a grown-up. A precious little boy.
All right, so Dying Light 2, Stay Human. This game is better than Dying Light 1 in every conceivable way. Dying Light was better than Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide in every conceivable way. It's like Techland continued to improve upon what they started with Dead Island. And Dead Island was fun for its time. The teaser trailer they made for that like broke records, and it was so viral. It was incredible. And the first section of that game was great.
Way better, Aiden. But you have to control.
There's a problem with the audio sync on this. We'll skip around a bit to the night combat and stuff. That's not combat. Come on, get me to some parkour. Give me some running around. If you're familiar with the franchise, I shouldn't have to explain it. It is parkour. It is zombie killing. You get a paraglider pretty kind of early on. It's fantastic. The game, just like the last one, there's a pretty big area for you to explore and for you to do missions for different groups. The story's better than the first one. Some are saying it's slightly above mediocre. I see you in the chat saying that. It's hard to argue against it, but there's more story here than I was expecting. And the fact that they got David, oh god, what's his name? The guy that says welcome to paradise. He was one of the inventors of parkour. God, what is his last name? To do the motion capture and voice acting for that character was really cool. They got Rosario Dawson. She's great in it. And by and large, the voice acting's really strong. Like, there's no real negatives for me from a voice acting perspective. I bought this, and I streamed the entire campaign. It is still, to this date, the longest campaign highlight video series I've ever made. I think I have 33 videos on this. One of them is the last one in my series. If you look on YouTube, !YouTube in the chat. David Bell. You're right, Toko. Thank you. If you put !YouTube in the chat and you look at my full playthrough highlights, I have one video that is me with Zilf and somebody else, a friend of the Zilf channel. I think it was Liquid, that we were playing in co-op for a few hours. I had a Monday afternoon off, and I got in and played some co-op with Joe from Zilf and his friend Liquid Air. A lot of fun. Playing this game in co-op on day one worked. The game, they took their time launching it. They went over 7 years between games, between this and the first one. And the first one was good. Was very good. This game is better in almost every conceivable way. No weapons that fire things. It's all melee, right? I don't know if there's any weapons that have any bullets in this, because the first one had a little bit of that, but that's not what these games are about. By the way, I will say the nighttime in the first game was very intimidating because you just got mobbed. They did a better job of balancing in this with the nighttime. We actually felt threatened at night, but not to where you didn't even want to go out at night. And there's reasons to go out at night and do different missions. So just the balance of the gameplay from the day to night, the way that the city is laid out for you to do parkour, I think it just flows a little bit better than the last game. And the last game did good, and it flowed really well. So they've just built upon something that they already have had a good, firm, established way of gameplay. This is the best iteration. And the thing is, there's still room for improvement. They could get even better story. They could get even more famous voice actors. I don't know if they'll ever have the budget for that, but what they've accomplished in this game was fantastic, and the co-op is great, and they're going to continue to support this game for years to come. They're going to continue to give free DLC. They're going to probably come out with some paid DLC as well, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. This is a game I still have installed. I haven't come back to it because I've had other games to play, but if they drop a big chunk of DLC, I'll probably pick it up because I really did enjoy my time with this game. All right, let's keep an eye on chat. Where are we at? American Gladiator Zombie Edition. That's not fair. Mid Ninja Warrior Apocalypse. Now you're talking. The world and setting was good. It was. I remember going kiss Rosario Dawson. She was great. She's great. Who doesn't want to hang out with Rosario Dawson in a game? Sinlania really likes these games. They're great. Where am I here? Is that shitty finger pistol? Was there in this game or the last one? I don't think I ever slept in DL1. Do you have to sleep to do you have to sleep to level up in this? I don't even remember. In DL2, I don't remember. The crossbow with the explosive bolts, unreal. The best. Man, I loved sniping at people with that crossbow. So you have the crossbow, and you have to do enough of the missions for the police officer people. When you do, like, you capture like 4 towers for them, and then you give them those towers, you get this crossbow, and the crossbow is amazing. You can put explosive tip bolts on it, and it hits people and knocks them back like 10 feet. It's totally comical and awesome. All right, so that is number 5. You called it, Riz. Just one more run. Oh God, what time is it? Person playing in this sucks too. They're running over those pentagrams. Terrible. Terrible. I wish Italians were real. The joke quotes in this are so good. I love it. Listen, y'all. Listen. This is another one that's going to be controversial. I know some of you have been repping this game hard, and for good reason. It is fantastic. It is a top 4 game this year. This thing, I remember watching someone stream it. I believe it was Fishboat in early access sometime earlier this year. And I was like, I don't get this, because I turned on the stream and it was late in a gameplay session, and it's just visual fireworks everywhere, and I'm like, what the hell am I watching? And then I did a little bit of reading on it, and I realized that this is a bullet hell where you only control movement, and then you choose your power-ups. You're not shooting, and yet it was $2.99, and I was like, well, for $2.99, I'm gonna try it. Tried it on stream. All of a sudden, I've got people in chat like, do this, do that. I'm like, okay. And then I was hooked instantly from the first couple of times I tried. I didn't go 30 minutes the first time, because in early access the game really only had a timer to 30 minutes and then it ended. I think the mobile version, that's where it's at right now in terms of the build. Now they have added so much to this game, and the devs are so responsive to people. I mean, they really understand the community, and they have made something that looks like an 8-bit type game, but I don't think this would run on an 8-bit machine, because actually I'll say it looks 16-bit, but everything that's happening on screen, there's no way in hell this game would ever run on a Super Nintendo or a Genesis. There's no way. Try to convince me otherwise. I'm gonna catch up on chat. All right, good night, Zilf. Thanks for hanging out, man. 4:30 in the morning. Congrats for making it that long. And I wish I could have seen your show tonight, but I don't live in the UK. All right. Yes, watch the rest of the vid from here tomorrow morning. I knew he would put it in the spot that would make everyone mad. So this list is not... I'm not doing this to troll people. I am not a game journalist. I'm not doing this to get clicks or anything. Boy, that person sucks. Why did you let yourself get cornered there, idiot? All right, sorry. This is my honest list, and I've had this list put together for a while now, and I've been constantly massaging it, moving things up, moving things down, etc., to get it to where it is right now. And I feel confident with where the list is right now. Now, in January, would I have done things differently? On every one of my lists. It's going to be that way on my albums and everything else too. I'm going to, wow, I didn't hear that before. Oh, this game actually is, I'm playing it way more than I thought. But it's December 17th. It's time to talk about the games. So this is where I'm at right now. This is an incredible game. The fact that it is available on so many platforms, they just launched it on mobile, fantastic. And it's great on mobile. I've already played, I don't know how many hours on mobile. I've basically drained my phone battery. Somebody in chat said that because of that. So I even downloaded the mobile version. That's what I'm talking about, Chef. Black Metal jumps in to say Vampire Survivors is solid. I would say it's even more than solid. I think as a concept, I don't know if it stole from some other game or if it's the first to do this type of bullet hell where you're not shooting and you're letting the game do the shooting. It almost makes too much sense when you play it. And it takes a couple of playthroughs for it to really click, but once it does, it's on iOS and Android, and it's free to play there. And there's only ads if you want to try to respawn. You get one respawn after you die, and it's if you watch an ad. Or at the end of a round, you can watch an ad to... you get a gold bonus, which I do that every single round. They're getting their money from me, that's for sure. I want to know how much money they're making on the mobile version of this. I bet it's really, really good, and they deserve it. Let's see. I mean, for the price, they bumped it up to $4.99 on Steam. Still an incredible deal. I remember telling Harry Hare about this game. I was like, "You need to get this game. It's $3." He bought it. He streamed it that night. He was on till like 3 in the morning streaming it. He was like, "Dude, this is the best value of any game I've ever played." I can't argue with that at all. If you're gonna spend $3 on a game, find me one that's as much fun and as something that it scratches an itch for both casual gamers and hardcore gamers. I have a couple of friends in a text thread right now who are talking about this game. They're just now finding it. And I'm like, where were you a few months ago? But it's okay. I found it late compared to some other folks. It doesn't matter when you find it, just find it. Because even as a casual game, it's fun to just run around and you get that dopamine hit every time you level up, every time you're grabbing XP tokens, every time you take down a mini boss and you get a treasure chest. All of those things feel great. There's so much content here for $2.99. Having said that, it is one type of gameplay. If you like it, if you don't like it, this is what you get. This is the game. But you can't complain at $2.99. Well, now $4.99. It's worth every penny. So go get it, you suckers. You suckers. I played 20 hours of this game in a week. Okay, Pac, that's like part-time job. It was probably fish butt. Soma, I fell in love immediately. Soma and Jug and Tree are probably the ones who know the most about this game in my community. This game spawned so many clones this year. So that's the thing, Sin, and I don't know if this game started it or if it's just like the one that everyone looks at. That I'm not sure of. This is in the before time, Riz. You two can just keep bickering, just, you know, on site. This game lags my Xbox. It would have bricked an SNES. I remember you posted a video where it was lagging really bad. Alright, still looking at chat. This should have won Indie Game of the Year over Stray. Oh, yeah. Who puts any real respect on the Game Awards, right? These are the Game Awards. It's the first one to perfect it. Okay, that's fair, Riz. Magic Survival did it first, but, well, yeah, Magic Survival is same dev, though, right? I played Magic Survival on mobile. I uninstalled it the moment this came out because this blows it out of the water. Okay, let's see. When this came out, it was everywhere. Okay, all right. So that is number 4, Vampire Survivors.
Everywhere I look, the land is dying. And the machines meant to help us are out of control. I have to find a way to fix it all. And the answer is somewhere out in the Forbidden West. Whatever comes, I will be ready.
PlayStation.
So this is one of the games that I did not stream because it's on my PS5, and my PS5 time is my time. It's me. I just kind of zone out and play what I play, and this was a game that I zoned out on for 50 hours. Hello? HD much? Why don't you just stream at 1080p? Why you gotta try to go to 1440p? Calm down. There we go. Calm down. Too bad you couldn't stream this. I would say, when I stream, I've got to set things up. Where this, I can just get on my PlayStation and boot it up and play. And it loads so fast. There's some sort of black magic in this game in how this ginormous world loads so incredibly fast on the PS5. I don't know how they do it. Honestly. I liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't finish it until, I want to say, like December or January of this year. December of last year, January of this year. It was one where I kind of got stuck in a spot and I was just like, eh. The story in that game got better as it went on. In this one, I would say it starts out pretty strong and it continues to be strong. There's more characters, it's a bigger world. It's West Coast, taking you from... I don't even want to spoil the locations because you don't really find out until you're well into the game of the different areas you're going to go to. And because the first game's a bit of a surprise where you even are, but it is a primitive future, basically. And these robots were originally kind of created to protect, and there's reasons that I won't go into story-wise why they don't. It's a pretty damn good story, actually. And so when you hear that they're in talks to try to greenlight some sort of, you know, TV version or movie version, it wouldn't surprise me, because Aloy is a great character. Her story of how she started out as basically being an outcast in her tribe and the way she pulls tribes together and stuff. It's really good. It's not original, but it's really well done. And the graphics in this, the level of detail in the world is just outstanding. I put maybe 50 hours into this, and I'm probably like 30% of the way through it. Like, I don't know how people put as much time as they did into it. I know I have a couple friends who played hundreds of hours of this and probably still haven't platinumed it. There's so much content. It's one of those games where it's almost an overkill of content. I don't want to say that and make it sound like there's such a thing as too much content. There's not. It's as much as there as you want to play. If you just want to focus on the campaign, you can knock it out in 15 or 20 hours. If you want to go and explore a bunch of side missions, you can do it. So when I put 50 hours into it, there's a good chunk of side missions that I was doing and exploring and things like that. But I could have played it for 20. I could have played it for 120. It's all there for you, however much you want to do. And yeah, actually, I did a lot of like the ruins. There's different ruins you can get into because it almost felt like I was playing a Tomb Raider type game. I went into a couple of the futuristic type places that create the machines, and it's like the Matrix. It looks fantastic. So this is such an accomplishment, and I will say even my boy Sergeant Angry loved this game, and y'all know how salty he is. He even tweeted at the developers like, you guys have made one hell of a game here. So for someone who's made video games for 30 years as a friend of ours to tweet at a developer to say how much they appreciated the work on a game, that counts for something, I think, as well. But for me, it's really just I enjoyed my time with this. I think I actually played it on easy. I'll be honest. The game is hard. It's harder than the last one. The last one was not easy, but some of the battles in this were really tough, and I just wanted the story and to enjoy some of the combat and not be stressing over it. It was difficult. The combat in this was harder than the first one, so keep that in mind if you haven't played it yet. But if you catch this on sale, it is on PS4, and from what I see on Digital Foundry's video, it still looks pretty good and runs pretty good. But this is a showpiece for the PS5. 120 hertz mode, full 4K if you want it at 4K at 30 frames. Put it on performance mode and turn on the variable refresh rate, and it basically runs at 1440p at higher than 60 frames a second in this massive world. I'm telling you, you will get sucked into it, and I've spent a lot of nights early this year playing this game really late. So kudos to the team that made this game. I think this is Guerrilla, right? All right, let me catch up to chat. Robot Zoo Tycoon. Oh, that is a real takedown. It's good. I can't wait to play the first one. First one's good, but it starts slow. Like, except that the first 10 hours, you're going to be like, with the story. It gets better as it goes. And like the last 4 or 5 hours of that campaign is very, very strong. It made me want to go in and immediately play the second one. It's all in the polygons. Number 2. Stupid scuffed streamer. Stupid scuffed streamer. Try it again. Number 2.
Time is running out. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
You don't really want war. All that blood on your hands, on your son's hands.
Fate only binds you if you let it. We will make our own destiny.
Rated M for mature.
PlayStation.
God of War Ragnarok. I don't know if there's much I can say about this game that hasn't already been said. It's bigger than the first game in so many ways. More characters, more side quests, bigger areas. There's almost kind of like Horizon Forbidden West in that they went bigger and look, full on, this is the most polished video game I've ever played. I only saw one like little visual glitch when I walked into an area and there's a little bit of like flicker that happened. And I was able to back up and turn around, and then I came back through and I recreated it. The only thing that wasn't totally polished in this game was this one little visual glitch. It is so freaking polished. And they've worked on this a while, right? 2018 was the last God of War game. And that was my number 1 game of that year. I have to look at the rest of the list to see what it was up against. But this is number 2 for me this year. And there are really 2 reasons why. Look, you could put 70 hours into this and not platinum it. Again, a dearth of content, and it's all really solid. I did a good chunk of the campaign, of the side missions. I got 36 hours in when I finished it. I was just over 30, actually almost 37 when I finished the campaign. And of course, it's like the last one. When you finish it, you can keep going. Won't spoil a thing. Promise you I will not spoil it. But I finished it last weekend, so just a little over a week ago, and was pretty much blown away at it. It is the game that I was hoping it would be, except for 2 little complaints, and one of them is a little bit bigger than the other.
I wonder if he and Mom ever met. If he was a part of the rebellion here.
The puzzle solving in this is pretty good, right? It's in line with the first one. There is a handhold aspect to the puzzles where you enter an area and almost immediately in some cases either Mimir or Atreus, or if you're playing with someone else around you, will say maybe you should do this. Like, they give away the ending to the puzzle. I really wish there was a way for them to not do that, to have it to where you could set it to a timer for when they talk to you about a puzzle. Or in The Last of Us, when you get Last of Us or Uncharted, if you're in an area for a certain amount of time and they think it's too long, it just in the bottom left corner, it's click L3 hint. It's a little chime that happens and it says L3 hint. You can skip it. If you click it though, one of your characters in the game will say something like, maybe we should look up on top of that thing, right? But it gives you that choice. This game does not. And there are times when I was literally saying, Mimir, would you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to just enjoy this area and let me get 2 minutes to figure it out. It was frustrating. Now, this game is AAA, Avengers style budget, and for good reason. They gave them the time to make this game and to complete this game, and they want the most amount of people to enjoy it as possible, and they don't want people that be frustrated. But there are ways around that, and I think they made a really bad decision by forcing that dialogue as quickly as it happens in some cases. Not all cases, but the majority of the time I found myself getting frustrated. There were a couple times when I actually did get stuck and they didn't talk, and I'm like, well, where are you now? Where's all your fancy talk when I first walk into an area? Where was it when I actually do need it? So, you can say get good and all that, but the problem was they wouldn't let me get good at times, and it was kind of annoying. I intentionally chose a level early in the game because I did not want to show spoilers. This is one of the first. This is Svartalheim. This is one of the first like bigger areas that you can go into. But this in and of itself is like 6 or 7 hours into the game, so it is a long game, but it is a well-paced game. I will say there are a couple of areas and sections in the game where it almost feels like they were in a boardroom and they were like, okay, we should have them do this. Okay, well, we'll write that in to make it happen. A couple of sections in the game, and without spoiling anything, didn't feel quite as organic as it did in the first game. So that's a really minor complaint. Here's my other issue with the game. The lock-on in boss battles is completely broken. I almost wonder if it was a decision that they made. But when you click the right analog, you lock on. Just like most combat games, you lock on to a character. If it's a fast character and they jump out of your vision, the lock-on disappears. Who thought that was a good idea? Or is it broken? Is it something that they're going to fix? I don't know. But it is a problem from the beginning of the game to the very end boss battle. You are going to have them jump out of view, and even just the act of them jumping, it doesn't start to follow. It just breaks the lock-on because they end up going out of your field of view. It is maddeningly frustrating, and I don't know why this decision was made or this bug was unaddressed, because it breaks a part of the game. Can you beat it? Of course you can beat it. You're going to die a couple times extra in some of these harder boss battles, though, and I guarantee you, if you're someone who wants to use lock-on, you can do it without lock-on. I'm sure you can probably say, well, just spin around faster. It's not about getting good. And I played on normal, full disclosure. It's hard at times, but not too hard, right? They hand you the answers to most of the puzzles, so it wasn't trying to be that hard. But if you're going to put a lock-on in the game, have it work, for Christ's sakes. So, have you played this game? Chat, how do you feel about it? Do you agree with me on the lock-on thing? Do you agree with the puzzle-solving aspect? Did none of that bother you? Because those are the... Look, I'm being negative for a reason. This is my number 2 game with a bullet. It is a fantastic experience. I enjoyed it 98%. It's just those little things that kind of keep it from being a masterpiece in my eyes. Chef, there it is. They also, the repetition in some of the lines when you're on fire or when you... Oh, you've been hit with Bifrost. You gotta be careful. Like, I know, you've said that 1,000 times. Like, that level of polish on some of the voice acting is the one thing that I'm like, why is this game so polished and yet they do that? Decisions that were made that I wasn't quite crazy about. In fact, the more I talk about that, the more I'm starting to think maybe Horizon's my number 2 game. I'm just kidding. No, this game as an experience and the story is better than Horizon, even with these little complaints. All right, reading up on chat. God of War was amazing. It really is. It is a hell of an accomplishment. This was Game of the Year for me, says Sinlenia, Smoker's Cough, Ragnarok. It is 2 games in one. It kind of feels like it. And I will say, and I talked about this on Twitter with a friend of mine, there's a section that opens up about 2/3 of the way through the game that you're in the area, but then something happens and it's like, you can go over here now. And it's this huge open area with all these side quests. I ran around in there for like 3 hours one night. I was up past 1 in the morning playing it. And I just got lost in this area. And I thought, is this a test for them? Are they like kind of like playtesting to see how we respond to a more open? Because most of the levels in this are pretty tight like this. When you get into an area that's kind of open, you're like, here comes a boss battle. But this massive area that you could run around and play in, it felt really good. I gotta tell you, if they do more of that in the next game, I won't be mad. This game is so good. It really is. I love this game, but they could take some pointers from Horizon on facial animations. The facial animations in Horizon are fantastic. And something with the eyes, they nailed the character's eyes more, I think, in Horizon than they do in this game. Did you finish? I did finish this. It took me a little over 30, almost 37 hours. 83 hours in and no platinum still, says Krog. Holy shit. I said what I said, boy of war. Puzzle, stop telling me what to do. You're on fire, Kratos. It'll pass. Wheeler, you got stuck on the one puzzle. They were like, they'll get this one easy. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. One of the later areas feels like a whole ass DLC campaign. That's what I'm talking about. Niflheim? It's something with Heim at the end. I lose track. I only saw like 45 minutes of this game. It is really something else. Game journal decisions. Yeah, they made the game for game journalists. Let's skip around just a little bit, but I don't want to skip too far ahead. I just want to show you all a different area. Even Bezos wants some of that Kratos action. I hear Amazon ordered a series. They did. The accessibility options allow me to play while being visually impaired. I love that. I hope more games do that. The accessibility options for Last of Us with the colorblind options, the way you can set things from the start. You don't have to beat the game to get these different chroma options. Love it. Love it. We need to be able to make video gaming as accessible as possible as we can. Vanaheim. Yeah, started with a V. I'm like, Van Halenheim? Well, Valheim came out last year. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, folks.
16.
It may not surprise you, though.
Make of thyselves that which ye desire. Be it a lord, be it a god. But should ye fail to become aught at all, ye will be forsaken, amounting only to sacrifices.
Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Champions, welcome! A celebration of war! Festival!
I pray that the guidance of grace abandons you.
Why accept the burden of their grace, or be fooled by the dogmatic ramblings of the fingers? Rise with us against the Erd tree.
Never met someone with a taste for brawn or trust. We'd make good mates, I reckon.
I bid thee travel the path of the Lord. And once all is done, we shall see each other once more. Now, go forth. Become Elden Lord.
Yep. It might not surprise you if you've been watching my streams in the last few months. And look, this game, it did something I did not think was possible. It made me a fan of Souls games. I've streamed 40 hours of Dark Souls Remastered. I've tried Bloodborne. I've tried Dark Souls 3 twice on 2 different occasions, and they never clicked for me. And one of the reasons was those games are fairly linear. This game gives you the freedom to walk away from almost every battle if you don't feel prepared for it. You don't have to go back and grind. You can just go and explore somewhere else. And by the act of exploring, you will be grinding and leveling up and getting better at the game and finding different weapons that you like to use and that you're better with. Because the amount of options in your play styles in this are better than any other Souls game ever. The story is a Souls story. What do you expect, right? There's really not story, so to speak. It's not about the story. It's about the experience of exploring. Look, people love Zelda Breath of the Wild. What's the story in that? It's the same fucking story they've played for the last 25 years. It's not about the story. I have not finished this game, full disclosure. I've beaten 3 of the Elden Lords. I am going to continue to play this well into 2023. But it's not like there's going to be some major plot twist that's going to make me go, oh, bullshit, this game sucks now. There's no way. There's no possible way that's going to happen because it's not about the story. It is about the experience of exploring. It is the best parts of games that are open world that I enjoy exploring in, like Skyrim, like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, etc. It is those games with Souls combat. The mood that the game sets in different areas is almost unmatched. It's not a graphical powerhouse like something like God of War or Horizon Forbidden West. It is basically made on last gen type tech. But it's not even about that. It is about the mood that they set in all of these different areas. And this game, it helps when chat was helping me with suggestions around what to do with different builds, with my build, etc. Very helpful. But I feel like this is a game that you can play without being carried by chat. You're going to want to Google some stuff sometimes. But by and large, I mean, I'm going to die more. But I never got frustrated to the point to where I said, I'm done. That has never happened with a Souls game, ever. Because of the freedom to say, I'm going somewhere else. Y'all have seen me in streams. You've seen me do it. You've seen me say, okay, I've died to this boss 15 or 20 times now. I'm good. Only to either come back to it later and destroy it, or to just say, I'll come back to you when I'm ready, and I'm not ready yet. And that's okay. The UI is better than most Souls games, but it's still wonky because it's a Souls game, and it's almost a feature now and not a bug. It's you could say a lot of Japanese role-playing games have kind of wonky. Some of the Souls games have kind of wonky UIs, and that this isn't really any different. It's a little bit better, but the way they've made quality of life improvements to this game, the horse. So they're giving you an open world to explore, but they gave you a horse you can call at almost any point. There are some areas underground you can't call it. A couple of boss battles you can't call it. Some of them you can. You wouldn't even expect it. Let me skip around a bit in the gameplay. The Ashes of War. So you can attach Ashes of War to different weapons, and it gives you different abilities. Things you can use that use health points or magic points to do stronger attacks. There are surprises in this game, like these portals. You don't know where they're going to take you sometimes. Kind of like there are warp chests that do that too, that are surprises. There's no mimics in this, which is weird. Anyone who tells you this game is easy is a Souls veteran who loves getting just shit on for hundreds of deaths. This game, you can do that if you decide to go into a hard area when you're underprepared. You can grind like that, but it's not required. It's not a part of the required gameplay. That is the key that I needed to unlock this. And now I'm going to say, I've gone back, I've started playing Demon's Souls on the PS5. I beat my first boss, I got to the second boss, I've only played it for maybe 3 or 4 hours. And I'm enjoying it. That never would have happened had I not started playing this game. And I started playing this on a whim because I was doing a cosplay stream for Dan Giesling, dressed as Dan Giesling, who's streamed a ton of this game. And I thought, I'll buy Elden Ring. It was on sale for $40. I'll buy it. I'll stream it for a couple of hours. It'll be good content. I'm going to get pissed at it, and then I'll quit playing it. And the hooks got sunk into me after 3 hours, and I could not stop thinking about it. I kept coming back to it. I kept wanting to play it. Even when I was playing Valorant, even when I was playing Call of Duty Warzone with friends, I should be playing this instead. I'm having more fun playing Elden Ring than these other games that I would normally be having more fun playing. Not that I'm not having fun, but I'm enjoying Elden Ring more. The exploration, trying out different tactics in combat, wow, I'm getting just destroyed by this guy. Am I wearing too much armor? Should I be faster? Am I wearing not enough armor? Do I need to tank up a bit and not roll as much and just, you know, is this weapon leveled up enough? Do I need to go back to the round table and go level up this weapon? It cracked the code for me, and I don't think I can give it enough props for that. And if you don't get this game, you're probably never going to get any Souls game. Maybe you don't like open world games. Maybe you like the linear aspect of the other games. That's fine. And look, I didn't expect this to even make my list. I didn't expect to play it this year. The fact that I bought it as almost just for stream content, and it turned out to be something that is now my game of the year, is a massive surprise to me. Because if you would have said in July that I was going to put this as my game of the year, I would have said, what are you smoking? Why would I even buy it? And I did. And by the way, the lock-on in this is flawless. You lock on to a boss, they can jump anywhere in the world. It will track with them. The way a lock-on should work. I'm sorry, God of War. You're an incredible game. But fix your lock-on. Especially when you're going to have bosses that fly all over the place. Okay. Got that off my chest. This is an area that I've been to. I enjoyed it. It was quite the trip, considering I don't play long range. My build right now that I'm playing with. Look, there are people who've played through this 4 or 5 times. Look at Joe from Zilf. He's not here and there right now because he's in the UK and it's super late for him. He's going to probably be watching this in the morning. Good morning. Hope you enjoyed your coffee and you're watching this. I'm sure you're smiling right now because I know this is your game of the year. But when I saw the Game of the Year awards had given this number 1, I already had it as number 1 on my list. The Game Awards, it didn't affect my decision in any way. I don't give a shit what other people think. Full disclosure. If you think this is not a good game, okay, cool. I think you're wrong. I think it's a great game, and I think it deserves the praise that it has received. I really do. And I would love to look for reasons to crap on it and say it's another Souls type experience. It is the best Souls game, and there's almost not a second place. I have reinstalled Bloodborne. I've tried Bloodborne. I didn't like it. I didn't understand. I understood why other people liked it. Now I understand more of it, and I want to play these games. And I'm going to. Give me Bloodborne on PC, though. Seriously. Okay. Let's catch up on chat because I was talking a lot there. Yes, Zombie. Elden Ring is my game of the year. Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga. I really did love this game, but game of the year, top 3, in your opinion. So, tell me what was your game of the year. Throw it in chat. What was your game of the year? I know some of you are going to say Vampire Survivors. I know a couple of you are going to say Stray. Fantastic games. All of those are great games. Let Me Solo Her. Yeah, Chef. The work that Let Me Solo Her has done to help people beat Melania is fantastic. Melania? I haven't gotten to Melania yet. We'll get there. We're going to get there. I thought it was Stray. No, so I'll show you my top 10 here in a minute. Game of Thrones for Game of the Year. Soma, you saw something in a trailer you'd never seen before, and you've played a ton of this game. I don't know how that guy breathes and plays at the same time. Can you pause the game, though? Nope. You sure cannot. You better get to a safe spot if you've got to walk away. George Rickroll Martin. Yeah, the fact that they played up that he wrote stuff in this story. Come on. Like, even I knew then. I'm like, what? He made up a few names? Go here to try to find the Elden Ring. Shut up. That was just a bunch of marketing crap. And show you number 1. The version with number 1. There it is. Bam. So there's my top 10. All right. This was the chat's number 1. 5 through 1. So number 5 with 2 votes. We have a 5-way tie. Horizon Forbidden West should be higher. Come on. Bayonetta 3 got 2 votes. I did not play that. I didn't really play anything on Switch this year. Stanley Parable. Actually, I need to play Bayonetta 2 first. Stanley Parable, the Ultimate Edition or whatever. Kind of a remaster, but we let it go. It's on the list for good reason. I love the Stanley Parable. Originally, when it came out, it was on my top 10 that year. What an experience. Like, you can finish it and get all the endings in like 3 or 4 hours, but it is unlike anything you'll ever play. The right kind of walking simulator. The Quarry. Again, on my honorable mentions. Maybe a little high, but hey, if you like horror games, I bet Jug voted for that. And then Neon White was one I had on my list of games that I did not get to play, but probably would have enjoyed. Just because of watching other streamers play it, even though it's a card game, and I'm really not into card games. The way it plays more like a shooter, and like a parkour shooter. Really like that a lot. Stream Bayonetta 2. I don't have a capture card. Can I change Riz's votes? No, you can't. Fishboat loved that game. Yeah, he did. And I know there are some like game journalists and stuff that really love that game. I saw it's got some really good reviews. All right, Splatoon 3 is really fun. Is it though? Is it? All right, number 4, Stray. 5 votes for Stray. See, y'all were down on me about Stray. It was number 4 in your poll. How about that? It's weird that Bayonetta 3 has worse performance than Bayonetta 2. Is it doing more? Like, is there more particle effects or something? I mean, it is on the Switch. All right. So Stray was number 4 with 5 votes. All those votes were me. Nah, I think someone else voted for it. Number 3, God of War Ragnarok with 7 votes. I may as well just pull this all the way down, because y'all are going to be mad when you see Vampire Survivors number 2 with 8 votes. And yes, Pac, I did count your other vote, because for the first hour or so after I launched the poll, I didn't realize that Vampire Survivors wasn't on the list, and you'd put it in as a write-in. I counted that vote. Why do you hate the cats? And number 1, and it wasn't even close, folks, was Elden Ring, 17 votes. So y'all voted, and y'all gave Elden Ring... Look, Elden Ring was closer to number 2 for me than it seemed to be for you. But I don't know how many of you got to play God of War. I don't know how many of you got to play Elden Ring. I don't know how many of you even got to play Stray. But it was your choice, and you got to choose multiple games. So if you thought a bunch of games deserved to be in the conversation, you got to vote for them, and I think that's the right way to do it. So I like that we did this poll. I do. I think it was something that I wanted to give you all a voice. And Vampire Survivors number 2, that's fair. You know, I think there's definitely an argument for it to be higher than it was on my list, but I just couldn't do it. All right. I think we're done tonight. Yeah, I think we're done. I think we're in a good spot. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. My number 1 game here is Elden Ring, and I'm still not done playing it. We're going to do more of it on stream soon, so be ready. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful evening.
Always be unfreaking believable.